Yeah, he sees it. Here he comes.
Cheryl and Tom Milham have devoted nearly 30 years to caring for injured and orphaned wildlife. The goal is to release them back into the wild.
We've taken care of over 18,000 birds and animals, and we've released over 12,000. So basically our release rate is about 2 out of every 3.
It's hard work and often heartbreaking, since so many of these animals are injured or orphaned by people. And then there are the fire victims, like this bobcat.
It had been running through the coals, the hot ground, and had burned the pads off of his feet. And you can actually see the ligaments and the tendons on the bottom of his feet.
He was eventually returned to the wild, but in catastrophic wildfires, it's a different story.
The fact is that we lose most of the small mammals, a lot of the birds, a lot of the large animals, mainly from smoke inhalation as well as being burned alive out in the forest.
And even those animals that do escape the fire have no place to live.
Because animals are territorial, and so if they move into an adjacent part of the forest that wasn't burned, there are already animals there, so they can't support 2 populations. So they've lost their home. The habitat's gone.
Gabe Kirshner's Wild Things is a home for animals that can't be returned to the wild. Many of them are part of his school education programs, like this young bald eagle, whose wing was shot off.
They return to the same nest year after year after year, building those nests into large 1,000-pound nests. And those nests are lost in a crown or a canopy burn.
Small birds and animals also suffer.
When the fire goes up the tree in a big burst, it kills everything that's living in the trees, whether it's a nest or a little squirrel.
Based on his research of historic forests, it's the massive fires we see now that concern Dr. Bonnickson.
There's no evidence whatsoever that fires of this size burn. Fires now 100,000, 150,000 acres. That is totally unnatural, and it's a result entirely of our neglect of these forests.
Meantime, rescue groups stay focused on the wildlife.
This is a resource we're not going to have. And maybe my great-grandchildren, there won't be wildlife here for them to see if we don't start taking care of them. And it's up to all of us.